This is Rob Tebbutt for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Ben Shalom. We're here at the Azim Rylan Charlton press conference showdown here at Alexandra Palace. How are you, Ben?
Very well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Just mentioned there the showdown. Something slightly different this week as opposed to kind of your usual two tables and top tables and what have you. Explain that to me.
I think, to be honest, it just feels different. It's a Sunday show. It's a family show, really, as boxing goes. And we've got four great fights, 4 50-50 fights, 3 50-50 fights, and then the main event. So we want to make sure that we get that out, we get the stories out. And yeah, it feels different, doesn't it, a Sunday show? And I think we want it to be story-led. We want to bring a different audience on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm a big fan of fights that are not just necessarily the Saturday night stuff. I love it when we get like a Japanese card on a Tuesday or we get Australian boxing on a Saturday morning. Do you think this is something that we could realistically see as a regular fixture in the boxing calendar moving forward, Sunday afternoon boxing?
Look, I think when the Premier League went, we took advantage of the opportunity. We've wanted to do it for a while. It made sense because we've got two shows in the UK on Saturday night, and we wanted to make sure we don't clash. And Sunday, Super Sunday was a thing that we always thought about. When the Premier League went, we thought, why can't boxing take that slot? And I think it's going to be a great event. I think three great fights, as I say, that Chelli Richards seems to be lighting up there. We've obviously got Jameson against Lawal. David's coming in really excited for this. We've got Sam Gilly against Sean Robinson, and then obviously Adam Azim topping the bill. I think it's a perfect card for a Sunday afternoon boxing, and hopefully we get a big audience.
You mentioned there Adam Azim topping the bill for the first time on Sky Sports. I mean, you know Adam, he's a very excitable young man. He likes to take those big challenges, but he's facing somebody who's been calling his name. We haven't seen people calling out Adam Azim recently, but Rylan Charlton, we just spoke to him here, he's convinced he's going to come, upset the apple cart, and it's going to be him who's going to be getting the big push on Boxer.
You know what? It's good because Adam, it's difficult because earlier in Adam's career, you look at the opponents and you can see that they don't really want to be in there. Rylan looks like he's really looking forward to Sunday. He feels confident, he's excited, he's sticking it on Adam, which is what we want. We want that experience for him where he's under pressure, mentally as well as in the ring. And yeah, Rylan's an experienced guy now. He's fought a lot more experienced guys than Adam has, and he's made them look stupid, and he's caused upsets in the past. I think it's a great fight for Adam Azim. I think for me, he's going to show his levels. There's not many people that know exactly how good Adam Azim is, except for the people that go and watch him spar, except for the people in the gyms. We're hoping this can start to show the UK how much of a freak this guy is. Like he's a special talent. I'm hoping he's fit, well, healthy, come Sunday afternoon, and he can put in a special performance. In
the kind of modern era of boxing, everybody's trying to protect an O and everybody's trying to like navigate their way to a world title. Adam Azim is very open to the fact that he wants those big challenges. He's calling out the likes of Haney and Lopez and people like that moving forward. How refreshing is that for you? And as a promoter, that must give you such excitement to guide the career of a precocious talent who really wants those big challenges.
Look, not everyone has the talent of Adam Azim, so it's difficult for everyone to have that mentality, but he's extremely special. I can't overemphasize that, underemphasize that. It's unique to be able to find a talent like this. We feel fortunate, just the timing has worked out perfectly for us, that we're able to give him a long-term deal and look after him and develop his career with him. We think he's going to move at such tremendous speed because he needs to, because we're going to keep seeing, I believe, fighters, him going through the levels and people not wanting to get in the ring, and that means only one thing, that he has to step up early. And that's what he wants to do, and you know, when he's got the team of the McGuigans behind him and Shane knows how to guide a fighter as well. We saw that with Josh Taylor, and he believes this is the best talent he's ever had by some way when you speak to him, and we believe that as well. And it's exciting for the whole of the sport, because we look at a lot of fighters retiring, we look at fighters coming towards the end of their career. We're always looking at the future. The whole sport is, we need those superstars that are going to hold it up in years to come. We believe Adam Azim is going to be special and something we've not seen before.
Final one on Adam Azim, the fight that everybody's already starting to lick their lips about is Dalton Smith, who of course boxed on a Boxer card a couple of weeks ago, successfully defending the British super lightweight title against Casey Benjamin, and a very good fight. Of course, it's very early days, but we love to build a domestic rivalry in this country, don't we, Ben?
We love it. And to be honest, and quite rightly so, I love British fights, British rivalries, and we need them, and we've seen Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor in the same division, hopefully getting it on next year as well. But that is Dalton Smith, for me, is another future superstar. I really believe that. Bit further on in his career than Adam, but so much potential, and a good following as well, which always helps. And yeah, down the line, that's going to be a monster. But ultimately, both of them have their own ambitions. They believe they're both world level fighters, and we'll see how that develops.
Free agent Dalton Smith as well. As you know, as soon as he left the ring on the Boxer card, he became open market, so to speak. I know that you've spoken very openly about your desire to bring him over to Sky Sports with Boxer. Any developments there? Any updates?
I think he's actually going to be working on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon with Amir Khan and everything. It's going to be good to have him down. Look, I think he'll take his time. I don't think he wants to fight till March next year. Obviously, it will be up to him. And it will be up to his team, and what better time in British boxing to have this many opportunities to be able to go, you know what, I'm valuable, I know what I can do, I know where I'm going to be, and now I can hear everything that everyone's got to offer, and we hope that could be number one on that list, but let's see.
Let's see, indeed. Before we move away from this card, Lerrone Richards versus Zach Chelli. Like the fight, surprised by it though, particularly with Zach Chelli. You've done a good job, you've built him, and Lerrone Richards seems to be, somebody who not really many people want to fight because of his style and his skill set. Talk to me about that fight.
It's more just trying to do things slightly differently. Like Lerrone Richards, for me, needs fights like this where someone's going to stick it on him, get in his face, bring out his personality, and put him on a big platform, which is Sky, and to be able to showcase his levels above. And British fans and casual fans love British fights, and so when Zach Chelli, you've got someone that will always come forward, always wants the biggest tests, never wants to be held back, and credit to him, and he wants the biggest fights possible. And as you say, not many people want to get in the ring with Lerrone Richards. Zach Chelli does. I think it works perfectly for both of them, and I really believe Lerrone needs this as much as that.
Lerrone said this is a one-fight deal for him. Is it something that, provided he comes through and he looks good on Sunday, you'd be open to working with him in the future?
100%. I think I always said when we sat down with Lerrone, when we sat down with Lerrone, I said, you're an unbelievable talent. You're an unbelievable talent. But are people at the stage yet where they're wanting to watch you fight? Do people know who you are? Do the casual fans know who you are? Has that developed? And we know that you need both. And that's why, talking to Adam Azim, we know he can run through the divisions very quickly, but we need people to see how good he is, want to watch him fight. And Lerrone's had a difficult one where his talent is high, and he needs fights that people are interested in on platforms. And we said to him, look, are you willing to do something like this? And it is a step down. I imagine it's not easy for his ego because he is a fighter at a serious level. And but Zach Chelli deserves his opportunity as well. And I'm happy Lerrone can see the bigger picture, because sometimes fighters need to see that. And yes, it's a one-fight deal. I want both fighters to perform at the best of their abilities, and then we'll talk after that.
Moving away from this card, you mentioned it slightly earlier. Yesterday we had a big announcement last night. Eubank Jr versus Liam Smith. I know it's a fight you've been trying to get done for a few weeks now. You must be delighted to get that one over the line.
Yeah, I think I've announced it 3 or 4 times already. But yes, so happy. Obviously, a lot of pressure on us. We signed Liam Smith. I knew he wanted the Eubank fight. I promised him the Eubank fight. I needed to deliver on it, and we did, and it's a fight that he wants because he believes this is his fight. This is a perfect fight for him. It's a fight that he believes he wins, and I think it's a fight that all the fans wanted to see. I think it's one of them that we've seen being called by fans and almost it being avoided all the time. I don't think until I started mentioning it, people believed that perhaps Eubank would take that fight, and Liam Smith is world level, proven world level. I think it's going to be the styles, the personalities, everything. I think it's an absolute blockbuster, if I'm honest. It's a fight as a fan I want to see. And I'm glad that both fighters in the end took it, and Eubank Jr is there, and I think his stock is incredibly high right now after what happened in October. And he's taken on a big test, and he's coming up to Manchester, so the Northwest and Liverpool, and it's going to be a sold out Manchester arena for that fight, and a great way to start the year, and obviously delighted that it's over the line.
What weight is it?
It'll be at 160, just because I promise you, and that's why I was surprised by when Eubank then was made, because I've promoted Chris a couple of times now with Calla. 160 is tough for him because he's boxed at super middleweight. He's an older fighter now, 33 years old. Coming into, I believe, his prime. It's still tough 160, and you don't want to. Liam Smith knows that. Liam Smith fought a middleweight in his last fight. I think it's a perfect fight. I think perfect weight. Both of them very, very comfortable at their weight, and both will be at their best as well.
You mentioned starting the year with a bang. I mean, January usually is kind of, I know last year we didn't have any boxing because of the board and COVID and what have you, but generally speaking, January's not always a busy month for boxing. This happens in January. It's also pay-per-view. Obviously, people have Christmas and cost of living and stuff like that. Was there any reservations about going pay-per-view so early in the year?
It's more that we can't. When a fight is this big, the fighters demand purses, and we have to sometimes find a way. We can't find a way, We try and give as much value. We've done Shields Marshall, we've done Taylor Catterall, we did Eubank's first fight. They're big Saturday fight nights, big expensive fight nights. That sometimes we've tried to invest as much as we can, and we've had one pay-per-view since we started in Carnbrook, and obviously the AJ fight. But this is what for me a pay-per-view should be, which is a 50-50 fight between two guys that people know, and everything on the line. And I can't wait for it, but there was no other way. And I sympathise because I do not like charging fans for fights. And with our budget, it's not, we sit on the Sky platform. Boxing itself isn't charging anything per month. It's within the packages and this and that. And for us to make the big fights, and we want to make the big fights, sometimes we have to do it. And I believe it will be worth everything, and it will be a huge undercard as well.
Pay-per-view price point's always a debate amongst fans. We've had recently, of course, Fury-Chisora free, $26.95. I think it's an equal record-setting. Do you have any idea of the price point for that?
Yeah, I think, obviously, I'm not sure we've had final conversations, but £20 is the usual price point on Sky. And as I say, I think it's a massive fight, and I think it's the one that people wanted, and I think it's the people. Maybe a lot of boxing fans, when they saw the Eubank-Ben fight, wished it was Eubank-Liam Smith, and I'm glad that we got it.
As am I. Before I let you go, always a man in demand around these parts. What's going on with Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall? I think everyone is gearing up for announcement, yet we're still waiting. What can you tell me, Ben?
Look, we never announced it. I saw a lot of rumours about when it was, how it was, how, everything. It will be announced soon. I speak to the fighters early next week, and the teams and Top Rank and everything. But yeah, it will happen. But it has to happen at the right time and in the right place, and that is still to go. And I saw rumours and this and that, but it's another massive British fight that, again, everyone wants to see. And it's just about timing and making sure things line up. But it'll be very soon. Josh, obviously, when he got married, changed trainer, getting used to a lot of things. It was never going to happen till next year anyway, and it will happen, Q1 next year.
Okay, we look forward to it. Ben Shalom, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to ID Boxing, and I will see you tomorrow.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.